I stood frozen in that hospital hallway, staring at my brother's face, a face I barely recognized anymore. His arm was stretched across the doorframe like a human barricade, blocking me from entering our mother's room. Behind him, through the small window in the door, I could see her frail silhouette in the hospital bed, hooked up to machines that beeped rhythmically, marking time we didn't have. "You're not going in there," Derek said, his voice cold and mechanical. I felt my chest tighten. "She's my mother too." "Not anymore." Those two words hit me like a physical blow. Not anymore. As if 20 years of being her daughter could just be erased. As if every scraped knee she bandaged, every late-night talk, every sacrifice she made could just disappear because my brother decided it should. But I didn't know yet. I didn't know about the note clutched in Mom's trembling hand. I didn't know about the nurse who would read it aloud 30 minutes later. And I had no idea that everything I thought I knew about my family was about to shatter like glass. Let me take you back 6 months. My name is Olivia Chen, and I'm a graphic designer living in Asheville, North Carolina. My life was simple, quiet, and, honestly, pretty fulfilling. I had a small apartment downtown, a golden retriever named Biscuit, and a freelance career that paid the bills and then some. I wasn't rich, but I was comfortable. More importantly, I was happy. My family was small. Just me, my older brother Derek, and our mom, Patricia Chen. Dad died when I was 12, a heart attack that came out of nowhere and left us reeling. Mom worked 2 jobs to keep us afloat. She cleaned offices at night and worked as a receptionist during the day. Derek was 16 when Dad died, and he stepped up. I'll give him that. He got a job at a local grocery store, helped with bills, made sure I got to school on time. We were close back then. The 3 of us against the world. But something changed when Derek met Vanessa. He was 24, working as an assistant manager at a mid-sized tech company. Vanessa was the daughter of one of the executives. Blonde, polished, always dressed like she was going to a business meeting even when she was just grabbing coffee. She had that kind of confidence that comes from never having to worry about money. At first, I thought she was okay. A little cold, maybe. A little too obsessed with appearances. But Derek was head over heels, and Mom was thrilled he'd found someone. "She's good for him," Mom would say, beaming. "She pushes him to be better." I bit my tongue. Because better apparently meant Derek started dressing differently, talking differently, and slowly, so slowly, I almost didn't notice, distancing himself from us. He stopped coming to family dinners. He'd make excuses, work events, Vanessa's family obligations, networking opportunities. When he did show up, Vanessa was glued to his side, making passive-aggressive comments about Mom's cooking or the decor in her modest 2-bedroom house. "This wallpaper is so retro," Vanessa said once, wrinkling her nose. "You should really modernize, Patricia. First impressions matter." Mom just smiled, ever the peacemaker. But I saw the hurt flicker across her face. Then came the engagement. Derek proposed to Vanessa on a yacht. Yes, the yacht. Her father owned it. The photos flooded social media, Derek in a designer suit, Vanessa in a flowing white dress, champagne glasses catching the sunset. It looked like something out of a magazine. Mom and I weren't there. We found out on Instagram. When I confronted Derek about it, he shrugged. It was a spontaneous thing. Vanessa's dad surprised us with the trip. "You couldn't have called?" Texted. "I'm calling you now, aren't I?" That was the beginning of the end. The wedding planning was a nightmare. Vanessa wanted everything extravagant. A venue that cost more than most people's cars, a designer dress, a 12-piece band, imported flowers. And somehow, Derek was on board with all of it. But here's the thing, Derek didn't have that kind of money. Neither did Vanessa, despite her family's wealth. Her father was wealthy, sure, but he was also notoriously tight-fisted. He believed in earning your way, which apparently meant his daughter had to fund her own wedding. So Derek started asking Mom for money. It started small. 1,000 here, 2,000 there. Just to help with deposits, he said. I'll pay you back once the bonuses come in. Mom gave it to him. Every time. I didn't find out until months later, when I stopped by her house and saw the stack of overdue bills on her kitchen table. Mom, what is this? I asked, holding up a shut-off notice from the electric company. She snatched it from my hand, embarrassed. It's nothing, honey. Just a little behind. A little behind? Mom, this is they're cutting your power in 3 days. She wouldn't look at me. I'll figure it out. Is Derek helping you? He's making decent money now, right? Her silence said everything. That night, I called Derek. He didn't answer. I called again. And again. Finally, Vanessa picked up. He's busy, she said curtly. I need to talk to him about Mom. What about her? She's struggling financially. I think Derek should. Derek has his own responsibilities now, Olivia. He can't keep bailing her out. Bailing her out? I wanted to scream. Mom had bailed us out our entire lives. But I kept my voice steady. Can you just put him on the phone? No. Goodbye. She hung up. I paid Mom's electric bill myself. And her water bill. And when I dug deeper, I found out she was 3 months behind on her mortgage. Mom, why didn't you tell me? She broke down. I didn't want to burden you, sweetheart. You're doing so well. I'm so proud of you. You're not a burden. You're my mother. Through tears, she finally admitted it. Derek had asked her for over $30,000 in the past year. She'd taken out a loan against the house, Dad's house, the house they'd bought together, to help him. He promised he'd pay me back, she whispered. He promised. I felt rage boil in my chest. But Mom begged me not to confront him. He's getting married, Livy. He's starting a new life. Let him be happy. So I stayed quiet. For her sake. The wedding came and went. It was as over-the-top as expected. I was a bridesmaid, shoved into an unflattering dress and barely acknowledged. Mom sat in the back, smiling through it all, even when Vanessa's mother made a snide comment about her outfit being quaint. After the wedding, things got worse. Derek and Vanessa bought a house. A massive, modern monstrosity in one of Asheville's upscale neighborhoods. 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, a home office, a 2-car garage. I knew they couldn't afford it. When I asked Derek about it, he was defensive. We're doing fine, Liv. Vanessa got a promotion, and I'm up for one too. And the down payment? He hesitated. We had some help. From Mom? That's none of your business. It is when she's drowning in debt because of you. He hung up on me. I went to Mom's house that night. She was sitting at the kitchen table, staring at another stack of bills. She looked so small, so tired. How much did you give him this time? I asked gently. She didn't answer right away. When she did, her voice was barely a whisper. 50,000. For the down payment. I felt the room spin. Mom, 50,000? Where did you even? I took out a second mortgage. My heart sank. Mom. He said he'd pay me back within 2 years. He signed a paper. He promised, Livy. I wanted to explode. I wanted to march over to Derek's designer house and drag him out by his collar. But Mom grabbed my hand. Please don't fight with him. I can't lose both of you. So once again, I swallowed my anger. But I started keeping records. Every loan, every broken promise, 6 months after the wedding, Mom's health started declining someday. It started with fatigue. She'd fall asleep at odd times, struggle to get through her shifts. Then came the dizziness, the shortness of breath, the chest pains. I begged her to see a doctor. She kept putting it off. I don't have time, she'd say. And I can't afford the copays. Finally, I dragged her to the ER myself. They ran tests. Lots of tests. The diagnosis came a week later, congestive heart failure. It's manageable, the cardiologist said. With medication, lifestyle changes, and reduced stress, she can live a relatively normal life. But she needs to take it seriously. Reduce stress. I almost laughed. How could she reduce stress when she was drowning in debt, working 2 jobs, and her son had abandoned her? I called Derek immediately. He actually answered this time. Derek, Mom's sick. Heart failure. She needs help. There was a long pause. How bad is it? Bad enough that she can't keep working 2 jobs. She needs to rest, and she needs help with bills. Another pause. I'll see what I can do. See what you can do? Derek, she gave you everything. You owe her. I don't owe her anything, Liv. She made her choices. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Her choices? She chose to keep us fed and clothed after Dad died. She chose to put us through school. She chose to give you money you swore you'd pay back. That was her decision. I didn't force her. You manipulated her. I'm done with this conversation. He hung up. Again. I moved in with Mom to help her. I couldn't afford to pay all her bills on my own, but I covered what I could. I cooked, cleaned, made sure she took her medication, drove her to appointments. Derek didn't visit. Not once. Vanessa sent a fruit basket with a card that said, "Thinking of you," in loopy cursive. Mom cried when she saw it. Not because she was touched, because it was so painfully impersonal. I tried calling Derek again. He didn't answer. I texted. No response. I even drove to his house once. Vanessa answered the door, blocking the entrance just like Derek would later block that hospital room. He's not here, she said flatly. Where is he? That's none of your concern. His mother is dying, Vanessa. Her expression didn't change. Patricia is being dramatic. Heart failure is manageable. She'll be fine. I wanted to slap her. Instead, I turned and left before I said something I'd regret. 2 months ago, Mom collapsed at work. Her manager called me in a panic. I rushed to the hospital, my hands shaking so badly I could barely grip the steering wheel. By the time I got there, they'd stabilized her, but the doctors were grim. Her heart is weaker than we thought, the cardiologist said. She needs to stop working immediately. The stress is killing her. She can't afford to stop working, I said helplessly. Then she can't afford to live much longer. The words hung in the air like a death sentence. I called Derek from the hospital parking lot. This time I didn't ask. I demanded. You need to come see Mom. Now. I'm in the middle of something. I don't care. She collapsed. She's in the hospital. You need to be here. A long sigh. Fine. I'll stop by tomorrow. Today, Derek. I said tomorrow, Liv. Stop being so dramatic. He hung up before I could respond. He didn't come the next day. Or the day after that. But something shifted in Mom. She stopped asking about him. Stopped making excuses. She just looked defeated. 3 weeks ago, Mom asked me to bring her a notebook and pen. I need to write something down, she said, her voice weak. What is it? Just some things I need to say. While I still can. My throat tightened. Don't talk like that. She smiled sadly. Livy, we both know I'm running out of time. I wanted to argue. To tell her she'd be fine, that we'd get through this together. But the truth was written all over her face. She was tired. So tired. She spent the next 2 days writing in that notebook. She wouldn't let me see it. It's not ready yet, she'd say whenever I asked. Then, a week ago, everything went downhill fast. Mom was admitted to the hospital again. This time, it was clear she wasn't coming home. I called Derek. Left voicemails. Sent texts. Nothing. Finally, I called Vanessa's cell. What do you want? She snapped. Your husband's mother is dying. He needs to come say goodbye. We're aware. Derek will come when he's ready. She might not have time for when he's ready. That's not my problem, Olivia. Now stop harassing us. She blocked my number. I sat in that hospital room, holding Mom's hand, watching her drift in and out of consciousness. The nurses were kind, bringing me coffee and blankets. One of them, a middle-aged woman named Ruth, seemed particularly concerned. Is there anyone else we should call? She asked gently. Just my brother. But he's not coming. She frowned but didn't push. Then, yesterday morning, something changed. Mom woke up more alert than she'd been in days. Her eyes were clear, focused. Livy, she whispered. I'm here, Mom. I need you to do something for me. Anything. She pointed to her purse on the chair. There's an envelope in there. Don't open it yet. But when Derek comes, and he will come, I need you to give it to Nurse Ruth. Mom, what? Promise me. Her grip on my hand was surprisingly strong. I promise. She relaxed, sinking back into the pillows. Good. Now go get some rest. You look exhausted. I'm not leaving you. Just for a few hours. Please. I'll be fine. Reluctantly, I agreed. I went home, showered, napped for maybe 90 minutes. When I got back to the hospital, I found Derek's car in the parking lot. My blood ran cold. I practically ran through the hospital corridors. When I reached Mom's room, Derek was standing in the doorway. Not inside. In the doorway. Blocking it. Derek, what are you doing? He turned, and I barely recognized the expression on his face. Cold. Detached. Olivia. I was wondering when you'd show up. What do you mean? I've been here every day. Where the hell have you been? I've been busy. Unlike some people, I have responsibilities. Responsibilities? Our mother is dying. I'm aware. His tone was so flat, so emotionless, it made my skin crawl. Move, I said. I need to see her. No. Excuse me. You're not going in there. I stared at him, disbelieving. Are you insane? She's my mother. She's my mother, he corrected. And I've decided it's better if you don't see her right now. You've decided? You have no right. I have every right. I'm her next of kin. So am I. Not according to her updated medical directives. My heart stopped. What are you talking about? He pulled a folded paper from his pocket. Mom updated her power of attorney last month. I'm the primary decision maker now. Not you. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. That's not possible. She would have told me. Maybe she didn't trust you. The words were designed to hurt, and they did. But I pushed past the pain. Derek, please. I just want to see her. I just want to say goodbye. No. Why are you doing this? His jaw tightened. Because you've been poisoning her against me. Telling her I'm a bad son, that I abandoned her. Well, I'm done with your manipulation, Liv. You're not going to turn her against me in her final hours. I couldn't breathe. He actually believed this. He'd rewritten history so thoroughly in his mind that he genuinely thought I was the villain. Derek, I never. Save it. Behind him, I saw movement through the window. Mom was awake. She was trying to sit up, her hand waving weakly. Derek, look, she wants to see me. He didn't turn around. She's confused. The medication does that. You're unbelievable. And you're not getting in. We stood there, locked in a standoff, until I heard footsteps behind me. Nurse Ruth appeared, her expression concerned. Is everything all right here? I'm her primary decision maker. No, I said quickly. Derek interrupted, he won't let me see my mother. Paper. Ruth and I've determined that it's not in her best interest to have visitors right now. Ruth studied the document, her frown deepening. This gives you medical decision-making power, not visitation control. Unless the patient herself has requested no visitors. She's too weak to make that decision. Then we default to allowing family access. Derek's face darkened. I'm telling you, as her son and legal representative. And I'm telling you, as her nurse, that unless there's a direct medical reason or a patient request, you cannot bar family members from visiting. For a moment, I thought Derek might physically block her too. But then, with a disgusted huff, he stepped aside. Fine. But this isn't over. I ignored him, brushing past into the room. Mom looked so small in that hospital bed. Frail and pale, like a ghost of herself. But when she saw me, her eyes lit up. Livy, she breathed. I rushed to her side, taking her hand. I'm here, Mom. I'm here. She squeezed my fingers weakly, then her gaze shifted to the doorway. Derek was standing just outside now, arms crossed, watching us like a prison guard. Mom's expression changed. Hardened. Derek, she called out, her voice stronger than I'd heard in days. Come here. He hesitated, then stepped inside. Hi, Mom. Don't hi mom me. Where have you been? I've been busy. For 3 weeks? Too busy to see your dying mother. He flinched. I didn't think it was that serious. You didn't think, period. She coughed, her body shaking. I helped her sit up, adjusting the pillows behind her back. When she caught her breath, she looked between us. I need to tell you both something. Something I should have said a long time ago. Mom, don't strain yourself, I said gently. No, this needs to be said. While I still can. She reached for the small table beside the bed, her hand trembling as she picked up a sealed envelope. It was the one from her purse. Nurse Ruth, she called out. Ruth appeared in the doorway immediately. Yes, Mrs. Chen? Would you read this aloud? I don't have the strength. Ruth took the envelope carefully. Are you sure? Mom nodded. It's time. Ruth opened the envelope, unfolding several handwritten pages. The room fell silent except for the steady beep of the heart monitor. Derek stepped closer, his expression suspicious. What is this? The truth, Mom said simply. Ruth began to read. To my children, Derek and Olivia. If you're hearing this, it means I'm out of time. I've spent the last few weeks trying to find the courage to say these things to your faces, but I've realized I'm too weak, not physically, but emotionally. So I'm writing them down instead. Derek, I need you to hear this. You're my son, and I have loved you from the moment you were born. But love doesn't mean blindness, and I can't go to my grave without telling you the truth. You have broken my heart. Derek's face went white. Mom. Don't interrupt, Mom said quietly. Ruth continued. After your father died, I worked myself to the bone to give you and your sister a good life. I didn't ask for thanks. I didn't expect grand gestures. But I did expect basic respect and honesty. Over the past 3 years, you have borrowed over $130,000 from me. You promised to pay me back. You signed papers, looked me in the eye, and swore you'd honor your word. You paid back nothing. Not a single dollar. Instead, you bought a house I could never afford. You went on vacations I could never dream of. You built a life on money that was meant to keep a roof over my head and food on my table. When I got sick, you disappeared. When I needed you most, you abandoned me. And when your sister tried to tell you how bad things were, you hung up on her. You didn't just take my money, Derek. You took my dignity, my security, my hope. The room was suffocating. Derek looked like he might be sick. Ruth's voice remained steady, professional, but I could see the emotion in her eyes. But here's what you don't know. I kept records of everything. Every loan. Every promise. Every signed agreement. I've been working with a lawyer for the past 2 months. The house you're living in? The one I gave you $50,000 for? I had it written into a legal document that if you didn't repay me within 2 years, I would have legal claim to a percentage of the property equal to my contribution. You didn't repay me. You didn't even try. My lawyer has already filed the paperwork. When I die, you will have 90 days to repay the full amount, $130,000, or the court will force the sale of your house, and the proceeds will go to settling your debt to my estate. Derek stumbled backward like he'd been physically struck. What? No, that's not. Let her finish, I said, my voice shaking. Ruth read on. Olivia, my sweet girl. You have been my rock. You moved in with me when I was sick. You paid my bills when Derek wouldn't. You held my hand when I was scared. You loved me when I felt unlovable. I'm leaving you everything I have left. It's not much, just this house and whatever equity remains after Derek's debts are settled. But it's yours. You earned it. Not through manipulation or guilt, but through genuine love and sacrifice. Derek, I hope someday you understand what you've done. I hope you look at your beautiful house and your expensive car and ask yourself if they were worth losing your family over. I hope you grow. I hope you change. But if you don't, know this, you will live with the consequences of your choices. And those consequences start now. I love you both. But love without accountability is just enabling. It's time you learned that. Mom. The silence that followed was deafening. Derek stood frozen, his face cycling through disbelief, rage, and something that might have been fear. "This is insane," he finally choked out. "You can't do this." "I already did," Mom said quietly. "That house is in my name. Mine and Vanessa's. And my $50,000 is in your down payment," Mom countered, her voice weak but firm. The lawyer made sure everything was documented. "You signed papers, Derek. Legal papers. You tricked me. I protected myself. There's a difference." Derek turned to me, his eyes wild. "You knew about this, didn't you? You put her up to this." "I had no idea," I said honestly. "But I'm glad she did it." "Of course you are. You've been waiting for this. You've been poisoning her against me this whole time." "I didn't have to poison her against you, Derek. You did that yourself." He looked like he wanted to hit me. Instead, he turned back to Mom, his voice breaking. "How could you do this to me? I'm your son." "And I'm your mother," she replied, tears streaming down her face. "The mother you abandoned. The mother you lied to. The mother you bled dry and then forgot about." "I didn't forget. You blocked your sister from seeing me in my final days." Her voice cracked. "You stood in that doorway like I was a problem to be managed instead of a person who loved you." Derek's mouth opened and closed like a fish. He had no defense. Mom turned to Nurse Ruth. "Is there more?" Ruth nodded, pulling out another sheet. "A list of documentation," she read. "Attached to this letter are copies of all signed loan agreements between Derek Chen and Patricia Chen, bank statements showing fund transfers, a notarized affidavit outlining the terms of repayment, legal documents filed with the county courthouse establishing claim against the property at 847 Ridgemont Drive, a will, updated and witnessed, leaving all remaining assets to Olivia Chen. These documents have been filed with my attorney, Marcus Holloway of Holloway and Associates. He will be the executor of my estate. Derek, if you're hearing this and I'm still alive, know that this doesn't have to go this way. You can still make this right. Pay me back. Be a son. Be there. But if I'm already gone, then the law will handle the rest." Derek looked like his world was collapsing. Which, I suppose, it was. "This will destroy me," he whispered. "You destroyed yourself," Mom said, and her voice was so sad, so defeated, that even I felt a pang of sympathy. But only a pang. Derek's hands were shaking. "Vanessa will leave me." "Maybe she should," I said before I could stop myself. His head snapped toward me. "You don't understand. You've never understood. You don't know what it's like to try to build a life, to try to be someone, when you come from nothing." "We all came from nothing, Derek." I shot back. "The difference is, I didn't step on Mom's back to climb out of it. You don't have ambition. You don't want more. I want more without becoming a monster." "Enough," Mom said, her voice barely a whisper now. The outburst had drained her. "Both of you, enough." We fell silent. Mom looked at Derek, and I saw something break in her expression. "I wanted to believe in you," she said. "I wanted to believe you'd become the man your father hoped you'd be. But you chose money over family. You chose appearances over love. And now, you have to live with that choice." Derek's face crumpled. For a moment, I thought he might apologize. Might fall to his knees and beg forgiveness. Instead, he turned and walked out. The door swung shut behind him with a soft click. Mom closed her eyes, tears leaking from the corners. "I'm sorry you had to hear that," she whispered to Nurse Ruth. Ruth set the papers down gently on the table. "Mrs. Chen, I've been a nurse for 23 years. I've seen a lot of family drama in these rooms. But I've never seen someone handle it with as much grace as you just did." Mom managed a weak smile. "Grace. That's a nice word for it." Ruth squeezed her shoulder gently and left us alone. Mom passed away 4 days later. I was holding her hand when it happened. It was peaceful as death can be. She just stopped. The machines flatlined, and suddenly the room was full of medical staff, but I knew it was over. Derek didn't come back. Not once in those 4 days. He didn't come to the funeral either. Vanessa sent flowers. White lilies with another impersonal card, with deepest sympathy. I wanted to throw them in the trash, but I didn't. Mom would have wanted me to be better than that. 2 weeks after the funeral, I met with Marcus Holloway, Mom's attorney. He was a kind man in his 60s with wire-rimmed glasses and a patient demeanor. He walked me through everything: the will, the estate, the legal claim against Derek's house. Your mother was very thorough, he said, spreading documents across his desk. She came to me 3 months ago, right after her diagnosis. She knew time was short, and she wanted to protect you. And Derek? What happens to him? Marcus sighed. He has 90 days to repay the full amount, $130,000, plus interest. If he doesn't, we'll file to force the sale of the property. Your mother's estate will receive what's owed, and the rest will go to him and his wife. Will he be able to pay? I don't know. That depends on their finances and whether they can secure a loan. I nodded, feeling numb. There's one more thing, Marcus said, pulling out a small envelope. Your mother left this for you. She asked me to give it to you after the estate was settled. My hands trembled as I took it. I waited until I got home to open it. Inside was a handwritten letter, shorter than the one Nurse Ruth had read, but no less powerful. Livy, if you're reading this, I'm gone. And I'm so sorry I had to leave you. I need you to know something. None of this is your fault. Not Derek's choices. Not my sickness. None of it. You gave me more love in my final months than most people receive in a lifetime. You sacrificed your time, your money, your energy, and you never once asked for anything in return. That's who you are. That's who you've always been. I know the stuff with Derek is messy. I know it hurts. But I need you to promise me something. Don't let his mistakes make you bitter. Don't let this turn you into someone hard and angry. You have such a beautiful heart, Livy. Protect it. The house is yours now. Do whatever you want with it. Sell it, keep it, burn it down, I don't care. It's just bricks and wood. What matters is that you build a life that makes you happy. And if Derek ever comes to you, asking for forgiveness, that's your choice. Not mine. Not anyone else's. Yours. I love you more than words can say. Forever your mom, Patricia. I sobbed. Ugly, gut-wrenching sobs that left me gasping for air. Biscuit climbed onto the couch and pressed his head against my chest, and I cried into his fur until I had nothing left. The 90 days came and went. Derek didn't pay. Marcus filed the paperwork, and the court ordered the sale of the house. I heard through a mutual acquaintance that Vanessa left him 2 weeks before the eviction notice was served. She moved back in with her parents. Derek moved into a one-bedroom apartment across town. He tried calling me once. I didn't answer. He sent a text, "We need to talk." I deleted it. Maybe someday I'll be ready to hear what he has to say. Maybe someday I'll find it in myself to forgive him. But not today. I kept Mom's house. It felt wrong to sell it, like I'd be erasing her somehow. So I moved in, brought Biscuit, and slowly started making it my own. I painted the kitchen yellow, Mom's favorite color. I planted flowers in the garden, roses and daisies, the ones she always loved. I set up my home office in the spare bedroom, the one that used to be Derek's. It's strange, living in the house I grew up in. Every corner holds a memory. Some are painful, but most are beautiful. I think about Mom every day. I talk to her sometimes when I'm alone. I tell her about my freelance projects, about Biscuit's latest antics, about the new coffee shop that opened downtown. I like to think she can hear me. It's been 6 months now since that day in the hospital hallway. 6 months since Nurse Ruth read that note aloud. 6 months since Derek walked out and never looked back. People ask me sometimes if I regret how things ended. If I wish I'd fought harder to keep the family together. And the truth is, no. Because here's what I learned. Family isn't just about blood. It's about showing up. It's about sacrifice and love and choosing each other, even when it's hard. Derek stopped choosing us a long time ago. And Mom? She chose me. Even at the end, even when it cost her, she chose to protect me. That's the kind of love I want to carry forward. The kind that's honest and fierce and unafraid to set boundaries. So if you're out there listening to this and you're in a situation like mine, where someone you love is taking advantage, where you're being drained and diminished and told to just accept it, please hear me. You deserve better. It's okay to set boundaries. It's okay to say no. It's okay to protect yourself, even from family. And it's okay to walk away from people who refuse to value you. Because love without respect isn't love. It's just suffering in disguise. I'm Olivia Chen. And this is the story of how my mother saved me, even after she was gone. If this story resonated with you, if it made you feel something, please like, comment, and subscribe. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, you are worthy of love that doesn't cost you everything.